Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the War Train here. Do me a favor, if you're not already subscribed, think about subscribing to the channel, guys. I try to put gaming content out like this on a regular basis, and if you guys enjoy this video, do me a favor, please give it a thumbs up. Now with that said, today's video, I want to talk about Arcade 1-Up. Now, when I first heard about Arcade 1-Up, I was actually at a GameStop, and my buddy Dan, the manager there, he was like, hey, did you hear we're getting arcades? And I was like, you are? Arcades? I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And he's like, nah, seriously. He's like, we're getting a couple of them. And he showed me the original lineup. Well, I was interested and I was blown away. I was like, wow, this is super cool. But I was like, man, these kind of are a little bit pricey. I mean, they're like, you know, at the time, I think it was $399.99. That was their, you know, asking price right off the bat. This is before, you know, we seen that they were going to pretty much drop at least $100, some of them even more, and some of them even lower than that. So you can actually get some pretty good deals on some of these things now. But when it first came out, that was like, wow, that's awesome, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get many of these things or any of them. But I really was interested, and I thought it was a super crazy cool idea, actually. And it was pretty new. I mean, you know, we haven't had a company do something like this, you know, in such a large scale before. And I don't know what I really thought. I kind of thought it was going to be like a one-off, you know, maybe they'd have a couple machines and it would just kind of, you know, be that, just a couple machines and then they'd be done. You know, maybe they'd sell well, maybe they wouldn't. You know, but I really never thought they would get to the level that they're at now and the level that they're heading, you know, towards in the future. I never would imagine that, for one, we get to a point where we had so many with online connectivity coming and pinball machines. Yeah, definitely didn't think pinball machines, which is awesome. But when I got my first one, the Street Fighter 2 cabinet, I was blown away. I was like, this is so cool. I was so excited to get it. You know, and the thing definitely did not disappoint. And yeah, they definitely have their flaws. Every one of them has certain flaws. It's just the way that it is. I mean, I know a lot of people hate these things. Some people absolutely love it. That's up to you what you feel about them. Me, I definitely feel that they're really cool and that they do have some flaws. I've talked about, you know, plenty of the flaws of these things. Like I said, each one has their own flaws. Each, you know, run of them, like say the first run definitely had the most flaws. I mean, they had the paint chipping on the control deck. That's a major flaw and, you know, a major oversight. But you know what? They really did a good job of remedying this, and they still have their problems. Let's face it. You know, but they have came a long way, and they're doing a good job, honestly, in my opinion anyway. I know some people do get frustrated. I've heard some bad stories even of, you know, people that just didn't get their cabinets. I know I talked to somebody in the comments where they didn't get their Marvel limited edition cabinet. It was like something with the shipping got messed up, and supposedly they sent their cabinet to whoever was shipping it, and then supposedly they didn't receive it or whatever. So this guy never got his cabinet. I don't know if he still got it. I really hope he did, because at the point I had talked to him, I want to say it had already been a month or so, that maybe even 2 months that he was waiting. I felt horrible for him because, I mean, that's a lot of money that he spent for this thing. You know, buying the limited edition one, that's something that you're pretty much going to wind up getting from Arcade 1-Up specifically. I did see that there was some other places you could get them, but for the most part, you're probably going to get it specifically right from Arcade 1-Up. So for them to, you know, have this guy wait so long, I think that was a major problem. But I'm sure that's not a normal thing. I haven't had any problems like that with them before. You know, I know that their customer service definitely needs some work. They do help you out, but the problem of it is that there's no one to like really talk to or get a hold of. You pretty much just fill out a ticket online and then you just kind of gotta wait. you know, and that can be very stressful, especially for people like me. I hate waiting, and I do not like not really having confirmation of something. Like, I feel better when somebody says, hey, look, this is what's going to happen. But that's a major flaw. They definitely need to work on that. But as far as their cabinets, they've definitely been stepping it up. You know, just the fact that we went from the Street Fighter 2 cabinet or those early ones that were having all kinds of problems. They were having ROM problems. You know, there's been problems, let's face it, with buttons, sticks, because they were way lower quality on that run, which used like a leaf spring system. And they have definitely upped the grade of their buttons and sticks going into something like this, the Turtles cabinet. And especially with the sound. I mean, on this we have dual speakers. On the first run we had one speaker right on the cabinet itself, which is not a really good place to even have a speaker, but I guess they figured at the time it was fine, you know. I guess they've learned quite a bit along the way. And even getting to a point where, you know, you got something like this with the lighted marquee. And the thing with the dual speakers that I think is the best part of them putting them up underneath is the fact that they have to tilt the screen back a little bit more, which just is better for anybody a little taller. Because when you're standing up, you don't want to be looking dead straight at a screen. You need to be pretty much dead on for that to, you know, be something that's going to work out. So to have it just tilted on that little bit of an angle up, it works so much better. And I really do like them having, you know, this wider tabletop or control deck for 4 players. I mean, because if you're on this cabinet and you play it with 1, 2 people, it's awesome. It feels absolutely great. And something like the Marvel, I really haven't made any videos on it except for when I first got it. I have to say, that is my favorite cabinet, hands down. I love the Sanwa sticks and buttons. They feel awesome. They when you just hit them, they're so fast, so responsive. I mean, yeah, they're not like super clicky, but you know, for a fighting game, you just want fast, you know, and it works awesome. I have had a blast playing that cabinet. I love the variety of games on there. I'd say the weakest game on there is the Punisher, which is still a great game. But like my buddy Pat from Game On has said, you know, there should be settings on there, like difficulty or a way to, you know, make it where you can limit your lives. Because, I mean, you can play right through the game. And I think that is a problem because, yeah, that's fun. But when you beat the game, there should be a way to change it, you know, make it harder. Because you can just keep running through it. But the fighting games, that's where that cabinet shines. The Marvel Superheroes game and the X-Men Children of Adam game are phenomenal. I have had so much fun playing them games that those fighting games on there, we play a lot. And to play just the computer itself is challenging. And you're not going to just run right through those games. You're going to have to play those games a lot to get through them. I haven't beaten that yet. I mean, those are sessions. When you're going to play and try to beat it, you're going to be playing for a bit. And you are going to be probably sweating. And it is a lot of fun. You know, it's just, I probably would have beaten it with a few characters, but it's just the time, you know, it definitely takes some time because you're going to be fighting some of the matches over and over or, you know, changing your character over and over to try to find one that you can actually beat maybe a specific character with once you get further. But man, is it fun. And I have a blast playing that machine. And, you know, the great thing I like about having the arcade one-up is, you know, where else or who else can I just pay maybe a couple $100 and have a couple cabinets in, you know, my house and make it feel almost like a mini arcade here. I mean, it's so cool to have these machines and just be able to just come down here and just jump into a game, you know. I mean, it's just that easy. I mean, right here, turn this thing on. Turn it down a little bit, but here, boom. I'm already in a game now. I mean, that is absolutely awesome. I mean, and these games are so much fun to play. And, you know, any one of them. And they're, you know, as far as like customizing them and modding them, you can do whatever you want to them. And I absolutely love that. I mean, it is just great to be able to maybe, if you want, spend a little bit of money and you can upgrade them. Like I plan on eventually upgrading this to, you know, a lighted marquee. It's not that hard of a project. I'm currently working on the Street Fighter 2 cabinet, doing a Raspberry Pi mod. I've actually successfully ran other things on the monitor already. And I know I can do the control deck, but I put it all back because when I do it, I'm going to 100% it. Where I'm going to drill into the cabinet and add, you know, extra buttons and stuff for the Raspberry Pi. That's the part, that's all new to me as far as, you know, putting ROMs on a Raspberry Pi. I've never ran one before. So to me, that's the only challenging part. And for some people, that might be easy. But that's the only bottleneck I have, is getting that all to work. And I've had the Raspberry Pi already, you know, running on the monitor and everything. I've basically set the thing up. It's just getting all the ROMs working and the main stuff to work properly and everything, and to set all that up. That's the process I'm currently in, is getting that all working. And I've only been doing it in little bits. So once I get that, you know, working how I want it, I'm just going to totally do it. And it's just a matter of time. I just don't have a lot of time to work on it. But I have started, so that's a cool thing. Now, I did get a Final Fight board to put in there, and I couldn't get it to work for whatever reason. So if anybody's ever tried this, let me know if, you know, you got it to work successfully. I don't know, maybe Arcade 1UP sent me a faulty board. I have no way of testing it because I don't have the Final Fight cabinet. If I did and I swapped the boards and it didn't, if it worked, then I know, hey, you know, I got a bad board. Like if I just put in a new one and it didn't work. But not having the original machine and putting a different board in, I don't know, maybe there's some kind of thing in there that's stopping me from doing it. I can't imagine so, because the way I see it, it's basically just, you know, different ROMs, and you're just running, you know, back to the screen and you're running to the controls. I mean, yeah, the controls would be a little bit different, but it just wouldn't use as many buttons. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. So if anybody, you know, has any ideas why that isn't working, let me know. I'm just curious. Like I said, I have the PCB board. It was like $30, so I figured even if it didn't work, it's not a big loss. But I did try to swap them, and I couldn't get it to run. I tried working on it for hours, messing with it, and that's when I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and start working with the Raspberry Pi. And I did get into that, but by then I had spent so much time, you know, I ran out of time. So I wind up putting it all back together and kind of aborting it for now. So right now it's back at the Street Fighter 2 cabinet, but I did upgrade it to the bat top. I do have 2 red bat tops, and I have 2 black bat tops, and I also have the red and blue ball tops and the 2 black ball tops it came with. So now it's cool because I can make that all kinds of combinations of whatever I want. I really like that. And that's what I said about customizing these things. You really can customize these. Now, as far as these cabinets, with the stuff that I picked up for the Street Fighter 2 cabinet, you know, all the sticks and just the basically the controller to be able to hook up HDMI and just different inputs on that actual monitor, that will not work, I don't think, with these. It's a totally different setup in these because they are newer cabinets. And that was the thing with the Final Fight board. They share the same basically guts as the Street Fighter 2 or any of the first run machines. That Final Fight cabinet was actually right at the end of the first wave. I think they kind of consider it the second run, but it's still basically the parts of the first, the first cabinet, except for maybe upgraded sticks. But other than that, the monitor and stuff is the same as far as the the ribbon cable input and connector or whatever. But these things are really cool, and the fact that you can do this stuff is absolutely awesome. I had my Nintendo Switch actually running on that monitor, and it did look a little weird because it's squishing it down to like a whatever it is, a 4x3 screen, basically a big square, and it's meant for a widescreen. So it looked a little odd, but I mean, I had it working on there, and I was actually playing a game on it just to kind of mess with it. I thought it was pretty cool. And when I finally do fully modify the Street Fighter 2 cabinet, I'll put out a video showing all this stuff, because man, it's pretty interesting. And I did have fun messing with it, because I do like tinkering around with this stuff. But I just wanted to make a video talking a little bit about this stuff, and I wanted to basically let you guys know how I felt about this Marvel Superheroes cabinet. This limited edition run that they did is absolutely awesome. Now, I wish they standardized this, or at least gave you options for these other cabinets. Gave you the choice, do you want to upgrade to the Sanwa buttons and sticks right off the bat instead of having to mod it yourself? Because man, I'll tell you what, they feel so much better. I mean, the quality is instant, you can feel it. I mean, it's awesome. And I do like having the lighted marquee. Now, one of the gripes about the lighted marquee is that it's a little faded looking, and yeah, that is true. When it's on, it kind of, they could have darkened the colors or something a little bit in it, so that it didn't, bleed out as much and just give it such a kind of a duller look. It's still not bad, but I think that they could do a little bit better with that. So that's one kind of gripe I have about it too. Probably the same as most people, but not a big deal, and definitely not a deal breaker at all. I did like the colors that they had on the regular one. I wasn't sure how I'd feel about this like orange or gold that they have pinstriping. I gotta say, I do really like it though. It grew on me. At first I even liked it. As soon as I put this together, I was like, wow. I didn't think I'd really care for this color as much, but I think it does work. I really love the blue though. I really like the blue around the screen, the artwork. It just looks awesome. And these colorful games look great on that monitor. Same with the Ninja Turtles too. I mean, these colorful games look so good on there. Now, the Street Fighter 2 cabinet looks good as well. The problem is the screen is definitely a little washed out looking. That first run they did, the screens definitely weren't as nice as the screens that they have now. The current screens definitely look a bit better. Glad that they're going to be putting them in all the newer ones. And who knows, eventually we could get even nicer ones, but they definitely did a good job with that. That's for sure. Now the custom risers too, awesome thing. These should be standard with all the cabinets. Not just like custom or like, limited ones or bundles. They should just be part of the package. That's up to you if you want to not use it. Because my Street Fighter 2 one did not come with one. I actually had to buy one, which is an arcade one-up branded one, which is fine. But now that they have the Capcom one for the Street Fighter 2 that you can buy, which kind of sucks. I would have liked to have that right off the bat, but you know what? It's no big deal. I'm not going to go out and spend the extra money for it. The black arcade one-up one I have is fine. But I am really happy with what the company's doing. I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the future with some of these future cabinets coming out. I'm definitely interested in picking up more of these things, and I cannot wait for the pinball. I am definitely going to get a pinball cabinet. There's no doubt about it. I mean, those look amazing, and I can't wait to check it out. And it'll be the same thing with those. Maybe the first run of them will not be as great as the second and third run, It's just going to get better. But that's thing you have to deal with when you're early an adopter of something. Just like I was an early adopter of the Street Fighter II cabinet. But when I first seen these things, I was blown away. And, you know, I'm glad that I purchased these. It is hard when you see better deals down the road. Like the Ninja Turtles, the $350 was a good price, you know, with the riser and everything. So I was happy, more than happy to pay that, and that's fine. But then when you see them down the road and they're like $200 and stuff, it's like, oh man, I would have loved to pay $200. But you know, again, that's how these things go. What are you gonna do? There's always gonna be sales, and it's always gonna be at certain times or whatever. But you know, I just want to say, as far as the Marvel cabinet, I really like it. I think the artwork is absolutely amazing on it. Amazing. They did a great job. The lighted marquee, I'm glad it has one. Let's put it that way. It could be a little bit better, but I think it's still really nice. The screen looks great. The buttons and sticks, they're fantastic. Probably one of the best parts of the cabinet, besides the two games. Like I said, the Punisher's great too, but it's just not as good as the two fighting games. I almost would rather have another fighting game on there. I would have loved to have, like, you know, let's see, X-Men, or, yeah, X-Men or versus, I guess, was it Capcom versus Street Fighter, or I mean, X-Men versus Street Fighter, or something like that. That would be absolutely insane to have, like, just 3 awesome fighting games. But I'm totally happy with the games that are on there. You know, I absolutely love that cabinet, I gotta say. It is really cool. I mean, and the fact that, you know, it is limited, it would have been cooler to be a little more limited, but, you know, if it was, I probably wouldn't even have got one. Say they were limited to 3,000 or 4,000, I would have been too late, because I was like 4,000 whatever, you know, but maybe limited to 5,000 would have been cool. But what do you guys think? What do you think about Arcade 1UP? Where do you think they're headed? Do you like the future of where they're going? Do you like their products? Like I said, I get a thumbs down on every single Arcade 1UP video I do. I don't know if it's the same person, but obviously somebody don't like them, and I know there's people that don't, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine, you know. And you know, instead of giving a thumbs up every video, give a thumbs down every video. Give a thumbs down, but tell me why you don't like them. You know, I'd like to hear about it, guy, whoever it is. You know, but if you guys are new, definitely think about subscribing to the channel, guys, and you know, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And you know what? If you really don't like Arcade 1UP and don't like the video, give it a thumbs down. That's fine too. But let me know why. I'd really like to know. But thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm the War Train, and I'm out. Have a good one.